The number one show I know that we all agree on is Break the Bank with Lerk and Deion.
Welcome back to another episode of the Break the Bank podcast. This is your boy Lerk. As always, I'm with the homies Deion and X. It's been like 6 months since the last time we put out an episode, but we back. What's good, my guys? How's everything?
Back like we never left, man. Let's get it.
Chilling, bro. Let's get back into it.
Shit, last time we recorded, I think it was still NBA offseason, right? Now James Harden's finally been shipped to the Clippers. This is a funny ass deal. I didn't even realize it was a 3-team deal till today. Yeah. So the Sixers sent Harden, PJ Tucker, and somebody I never heard of to the Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, and KJ Martin. They also got a 2028 unprotected first round pick, 2 second-round picks, and then they added OKC to the trade. The Clippers gave OKC another pick swap, and then OKC sent the Sixers one of their picks that they got from the Clippers in the Paul George trade.
That's how fake them OKC picks are, bro. And I've been saying this for years. The fact that they traded one of them for a pick swap, that shows you how fake them picks are.
Well, I mean, it was a fake pick. It's a 2026 protected first round pick.
That's what I'm saying. But like so many of their picks are the same way. That's why this whole time I've been like, yo, these picks are fake. Like he does have like Presti has a ton of them, but like
some of them are probably gonna turn out pretty good.
For sure. I mean, you got 30 first round picks, you just need 3 to be lotto, right? Like that's all you're really looking for.
Like at first I really felt like this was just a crazy lopsided deal. But then I realized that the Sixers got that 2028 unprotected. I thought it was protected. First off, the Clippers don't got a fucking draft pick for like the next 6-7 years, which is crazy. They don't got a first or a second round pick at all.
So 2030. They only got a pick in 2030.
And then like that 2028 being unprotected when damn near everybody on the roster gonna be a free agent at the end of the year. I like that for them.
I think like Ballmer, much like Joe Lacob, they gonna have to show me that they're not just gonna put a winner out there every year. Like I understand like the Clippers have never like won anything, but if Ballmer is willing to like be this deep into the luxury tax every year, like I wouldn't want a Clippers pick, no matter who's expiring or what.
Who's gonna want to go there though?
With that new stadium?
When is the stadium even coming?
2025.
A couple years.
That's not bad. A couple more years. It's gonna be in Inglewood, right?
Yeah, in Inglewood.
But it's LA. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
it's also Clippers.
I'll give you one name, Lerk. I'll give you one name. LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, we spoke about that a lot last season, especially when we had Max on the show.
That one feels like a lock. Like, forget 2028 or whenever the hell they expire. I don't know what year you just said. But he's going to open that new stadium.
No, they're all Kawhi, I believe, is a free agent at the end of the season. Harden's a free agent at the end of the season. I think the only like big name player that they have under contract after the season is Paul George.
The Zubac disrespect is crazy.
Yo, I said big name player. I didn't say good player. I said big name player. I fuck with Zubac. My guy, I fuck with Zubac. He's a bully in the post.
Shout out Ivica.
So 2 questions for y'all. First, who you think won the trade? And more importantly, how long before Joel Embiid requested trade?
I think they both lost it. I think so I read that Morey didn't want to take that deal because he knew it was a dog shit deal, but the ownership was just like, look, just get this motherfucker out of there. You know what I'm saying? But for them, bro, they're going to have like 65, 70 million in cap room. I think that's going to let Morey have some flexibility. So he didn't fuck up the flexibility and he got that 2028 pick. Now, while we may feel like, yo, former whatever, it is low-key a juicy asset pause. You know what I'm saying? So it's at least a trade asset. Now, for the fucking Clippers, bro, it's like, I don't care, bro. I don't care. Like, how many times I got to see Harden fail in the playoffs? He doesn't move me. That team was a bunch of old motherfuckers who can't stay healthy. They don't make sense on the court, and they're not gonna play like a defense. So I don't care. So
You
lose,
don't got
lose.
no real depth, and you have no flexibility to get better.
Bro, you got 4 motherfuckers that all need the ball to be effective. Like, that's how's that gonna work? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then if Kawhi was Kawhi, all right. But Kawhi defensively, Kawhi is not Kawhi. So I just think teams are gonna pick him apart. And honestly, I judge moves now, like in the West, like did this give you a decent chance of beating the Nuggets? And if the answer is no, then I just don't give a fuck. And to me, the answer is no, so I just don't care.
This might sound disrespectful, but I think PJ Tucker was a bigger pickup for the Clippers than James Harden was.
Oh yeah, that's blasphemy. But I get the sentiment because fuck
I
Harden.
mean, I really like the starting 5 of Harden, PG,
Russ.
Kawhi, Tucker, Zubac. And then I like the closing lineup of Harden, PG, Kawhi, Man, Tucker. So I do think PJ is like important aspect of that deal. He's definitely not a bigger whatever you called it than Harden, but like he's like Kevon Looney, right? Like for the Warriors, or he's like how Bruce Brown was for the Nuggets last year. He's the guy that makes the lineups gel together, right?
That's
like
why I say he's a more
yeah,
important pickup.
that's crazy
He's gonna
because
make shit work. He's gonna help them make shit work, and they still gonna be able to play good defense.
but you don't need lineups to gel together without Harden. So it just doesn't matter.
How long for MB request a trade?
I don't think he will. I think X is right. Like I said, I don't want a Clipper asset, but if I'm Philly, that doesn't matter because they're not going to keep it. They have all this cap space. They still have Tobias Harris's expiring contract. I think they go get somebody. You have Maxey, somebody else, Embiid. I think got a chance. They look really good so far this year, and that's with Harden not acting like an adult. Marcus Morris is solid. You know, he can fit.
Here's my thing. If you look at the free agent list, there's not any needle movers because I think free agency is dead. Like you're acquiring these players through trade, and anyone you get on as a free agent, you're overpaying for. So because of that, I'm like, who's theoretically available, right? That you're like, all right, you put them on this team, and that Sixers team is like a contender. Like, if you add Zach LaVine, do you feel like the Sixers are contenders? You know what I'm
With
saying?
Milwaukee and
No,
Boston there? Nah.
but
That's what maybe that 2028
but
pick is enough for Chicago to let go of Levine, but you're not getting a fucking true superstar.
but if you get Levine for the 2028 pick and say Marcus Morris and
And you
some of
could
the other stuff.
always use Tobias's expiring as an asset too. I mean to cut you off, bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying is if you're able to get Levine without using the Tobias contract, now you're cooking.
Yeah,
Now
because
you're
now you could use that, some picks, maybe a role player to
right.
go out and get another player.
Right. It just depends on how this next move goes. Like if it's just Levine, I'm on your side, X. But if it's like Levine with minimal assets and you still have Tobias and all of your first round picks, I mean, yeah.
What I would imagine, right, is if you could in the summertime, because honestly, I don't think there's an in-season trade for them to make. I think it's in the summertime when they have that cap space, and then they could tell a team like, look, you can give us 80 million in salary and only take back 30. You know what I'm saying? And if you're in a luxury tax, we could save you a ton of money. If you want to clear your cap, your cap, we can help you just clear the books. And so we'll take on a really toxic contract if you're willing to part with a star, and we don't got to include any more assets. Just the financial relief we can provide with that move, then maybe you're cooking. But I start thinking, I'm like, well, who's severely in the luxury tax? You know what I'm saying? Maybe Portland will get rid of Jeremy Grant just to get off his contract, right? Just for the financial flexibility. Maybe something like that. Or maybe you look at a Toronto and you say, all right, give us Siakam and whatever toxic contract you don't want. But I don't know. And honestly, part of that is my lack of faith in Embiid. But
Cat and Embiid together? I don't think Cat will want to do that.
Maybe not. I don't know.
And not even just because of their history, like, of beefing on the court and shit, but, like, he don't look comfortable in Minnesota since Rudy got there.
I
Like he
think
don't
Embiid's
look
a
like
bit.
he, huh?
I think Embiid's different because they both can play like on the perimeter.
Yeah, but he's being forced to play more on the perimeter and instead of like down on the block. I don't think it would work for like for either one of them much because they both gonna want the ball. Embiid's a fucking ball hog, if we're being honest. But I don't see the Cat Embiid pairing working, and I don't see Cat wanting to be there.
I mean,
But
maybe not.
what
He's a name to look out for, though.
he is, I think he's gonna be on the move by the deadline, but I don't know. I don't know if it's Philly though. I could see the Knicks going after Embiid or Cat by the deadline though. I'm with y'all. I don't see Embiid really requesting the trade, at least in season. He seems like the type of player, especially like the way he be embracing the fans out there. He probably feel like everybody's gonna perceive him as that he quitted on the Sixers, and he's not gonna want that. Either the Sixers decide it's time to move on and just break everything up, start from scratch, or he's gonna tell them that he don't want to be there in the off season. Either way, next season he won't be in Philly.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that, but we'll see.
He'll be
I
gone.
think that's really to be determined.
You're right, but he's been hitting at this shit since the Ben Simmons days. Like he's tired of dealing with the bullshit. He wants to win. He's all his sound bites are this similar to all the other disgruntled stars that eventually requested a trade.
We'll see. I don't know. That's to be determined. I don't know. They have too many assets. Obviously, another move is going to happen.
Well, I guess it'll all depend on what they decide or
Yeah.
what they make happen.
Yeah.
And like similar to the Dame situation, where Dame gave him one last chance to show him if they was gonna do what he wanted or
There's
do
a
what
huge
was right
difference,
by the
though.
organization. Oh, no, yeah,
There's
granted, there is a huge difference. I'm
a
saying
huge
like
difference.
I'm not comparing their entire situations. I'm talking about at the end of the Dame shit where he was like, I don't want to build through the draft, but I don't want to be traded. And then when they started to build through the draft, he's like, I don't want to be here no more.
I just think it's different. Like Portland had the assets, I guess you could
No,
say.
no, Philly's in a much better position. Philly's in a much
Philly's.
better position, but that's what I'm saying. It all depends on what Philly decides to do that will determine if he's like, y'all want out of here. But then who's to say that they don't just say fuck it and move on from him anyway, even if he don't request the trade and just start from scratch?
I think no matter what Embiid does, Philly has enough assets to get stuff this year to be a contender, and I think this is why Embiid wouldn't leave. Philly's going to be so good, they're not just going to trade him where he wants to go. Like Morey's going to trade him where he gets the most assets in return. And for that reason, I think Embiid just winds up staying.
I don't know. I just feel like Embiid to the Knicks is like a lot, bro. I think they've been stockpiling those picks, and I just feel like I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like that's a lot to happen.
And it's been rumored since the whole shit with at the end of the season with James Harden that the Knicks have been keeping an eye on the situation and waiting to see if Embiid becomes available.
Yeah, I mean that's all the Knicks do. They keep eyes on situations. That's their fucking.
You
It
ain't
don't matter
even
who the
lying.
player is.
You ain't even lying. This is what they do. They talk, and do nothing but bullshit.
Yeah.
But staying on the trade topics, moving on to another sport, NFL. How the fuck do these teams just keep saying here to the 49ers and just spoon feeding them more and more defenders?
See, I don't think this dude's that good.
I don't think he was that good in Washington, but when you're playing in the 49ers defense and you got guys like Hargraves and Bosa and Warner that make your life that much easier.
I mean, he had Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen.
Wasn't Sweat in Arizona?
Nah.
Bro, I don't even care if he's that good or not. It just shows that San Fran has a good front office because they're essentially getting him for free. They gave up a fucking supplemental draft pick in the third round. And if he leaves in free agency, they'll recoup a supplemental pick. And so essentially, they just got to pay his salary for the rest of the year. There's literally no risk in it for the 49ers, which is why I think if you're the Commanders, you should have pushed for at least a second round, right? Because you were going to recoup a third once if you let him walk anyway. So why just move him when you were gonna get that pick anyway? So that's why for the Lions, I'm like, look, if he's your 4th or 5th best pass rusher, bro, you do it all day, every day. But the Eagles, bro, the Eagles trading for, you know what I'm saying? Like
Kevin
the Eagles
Byard.
offices. Yeah,
bro, really, these motherfuckers really have one of the most amazing front offices in all of professional sports.
Like,
I
that's
think,
what I'm saying. Like, are we surprised that it's the Niners and Eagles that pulled these 2 moves off? Like, consistently, they've been the best front offices.
I think there's 2 answers to the Niners aspect. The Eagles is a home run, no matter how you look at it, right? Like, Kevin Byard is one of the best safeties in the league. They got him for next to nothing. The Niners, like, my beef isn't with the trade. It's more so like the way the media and fans are like reacting to it. This guy has 14 career sacks. You know what I mean? Like, he's in his 4th
he
year.
only played how many games he's played? Like
34 games.
34?
He's played 34 games. That's like not good. That's
right.
It's just name recognition. They recognize his name from a few years ago in a draft. But if they've watched the Commanders play, he's a ghost on the field. When he's healthy, you don't notice him. But it's name recognition. But I do agree with Lerk that it's like, look, he was supposed to be the guy. So if he was drawing double teams and he wasn't good enough to beat those, all right, cool. But if he's getting consistent one-on-one coverage,
and again, it's the whole new scheme.
May not be a world beater.
That's my thing, though, is like, so I love the trade because if you look at it, we traded a compensatory 3rd-round pick for a rotational D lineman. From a Niners perspective, like, they know what they're doing because everyone, like, there's certain fans that are like, oh, we should have got Montez Sweat. Like, no, we don't have like the space for Montez Sweat to play every down the way he like needs to do. And then you have to trade a 2nd-round pick for that guy too. And he's an expiring contract that's going to get a big deal. Chase Young may get a big deal. He may not. He's not going to have to play every down. And we traded the compensatory 3rd. So if you treat him like, hey, this is an average D lineman that you just picked off and you thrust into this and you get more depth at the position and you rotate him, Randy Gregory, and Cleveland Farrell around, and one of them's always fresh every down, it's a phenomenal trade. But the dude isn't that good. He's just not. And he wasn't drawing double teams in Washington because they had Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. Like, if anything, he was more one-on-one there than he probably will be on the Niners, if we're being completely honest.
Nah.
So, but again, like, if the Niners know what they're doing, it's fans in the media that where I'm like, this isn't a blockbuster trade. It only is because he was the 2nd overall pick 4 years ago.
See, for me, it's
asset perspective.
It's about, for me, I'm projecting on how much easier I feel like his life is gonna be, and with that comes a lot of rewards. Like, how many fucking people benefit from Nick Bosa being on that defensive line? How many benefited from Aaron Donald?
I get it, but like, we're not talking to like, I get it, the Commanders stink. So we're talking like, oh, it's the Commanders. But
yeah, like, I understand what you're saying. Where that's probably guys over there, but
that's probably the best defensive line in football. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's the 49ers defense, though, and you're adding a quality defender. He may not be great. He may not be great, but
the fact you can even rotate him means he's more likely to stay healthy, which means you're more likely to maximize whatever he has.
No, absolutely.
On what that is, but he couldn't rotate in Washington. He had to be there because, yes, their starting from 4 was great on paper, but they had 0 depth. They weren't the Eagles where it's just like, bro, we're just rotating motherfuckers in and out, keeping them fresh. That wasn't what they had in Washington. But I think the more important or the bigger trade was the Bears one, low-key, for Sweat. Like, I think that was such a stupid trade on so many levels. First of all, you should have learned your lesson last year when you gave up a 2nd for Chase Claypool, right? That was dumb. And it was, I think it was one of the first couple picks in the 2nd round. Which is arguably one of the, outside of like a top 5 pick, probably even the most coveted pick just because of the contract and the salary that comes with that pick, right? And then that blew up in their face. So then you double down and you trade a 2nd-round pick for a D lineman who's up for a huge big money extension. You have to pay him, right? So now he's going to walk into the front office, put his dick on the table, pause, and say, yo, you're going to pay me whatever I want because you just gave up a 2nd-rounder for me. There's no way you're going to let me walk, right? So at that point, the Bears have doubled. And for what? right? At this point, if they're smart, they continue to lose. They try to position themselves for the UFC quarterback, right? But at this point, you don't even know what the future of your team looks like. Why commit so many assets to Sweat now when if let's say best case scenario, he comes in and he helps you from day one, then the likelihood of you landing a top 2 pick to be able to even get Caleb Williams decreases. So you shot yourself in the foot for the long term, and then you box yourself in terms of how much money you're gonna have to pay him in the offseason. I just think it was such a stupid trade on every
I'm
level.
with you 99%. The only pushback I have is that they don't need to lose to get Caleb Williams because they have the Panthers first round pick and they fucking suck.
Yeah. Maybe they view the division as open.
Like they were already not even in contention for the first round pick with their own pick, but they got the Panthers.
If let's say they land 2 top 3 picks, we know teams fall in love with quarterbacks every year. Then the worst of the 2 picks, you could probably sell for a fucking haul. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You get a lot more if that pick is 2 or 3 than if that pick is 5. You know what I'm saying? Like considerably more. So I'm just like
the same way they did with the first round, the first overall pick this year.
And with that other pick, if they just don't trade for Sweat, they could probably land the best defensive player if they just stay, and it'll be on a better and cheaper contract than the one they're about to hand to 100%. Sweat. It's stupid on every.
So is that like that was like your most shocking deal of the deadline?
Yeah, I'm just like it's because and I mean it's a greater point, but I think so often teams that allow GMs that are on the hot seat to make these panic trades always end up getting fucked, right? And I think that's why more GMs should be fired in season before they have the ability to pull off stupid shit like this in a desperate attempt to save their job. You know what I'm saying? Firing Pace is probably gone anyway. But in the meantime, you let them do this dumb shit. I just don't understand
it. The Vikings shocked the hell out of me too, trading for a quarterback, but then trading away their best offensive lineman. Your season has been done since the season started. Your quarterback season just ended. Hopefully his tenure there just ended for Justin Jefferson's sake. You trade for Josh Dobbs from the Cardinals, but then you trade away your best offensive lineman. What fucked me up more than anything was the Giants. The fact that they were able to get a second-round pick for Leonard Williams.
Happy as shit.
That was... I'm happy about it. But I was just surprised that the Seahawks gave up that much. A second and a fifth for Leonard Williams is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I watched some of that quarterback documentary on Netflix. I like Kirk Cousins now, fam.
Like I don't like him on the field. He's cool.
Nah, but even like, look, is he better than Daniel Jones? Would I trade Daniel Jones for him right now? 1,000 fucking percent. You know what I'm saying?
I would trade Daniel Jones for a vape.
Exactly. And my whole thing is,
you was begging for them to re-sign Daniel Jones.
I wasn't begging for them to re-sign Daniel Jones, but I was hyping him up all preseason.
I think you also
was 100% wrong.
I think if you go to some of our original episodes, you was begging for Leonard Williams to get re-signed too.
No, I was begging for Dexter Lawrence. I was begging for Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah. Not But
Dexter
my whole thing is like,
guy.
Bro, the Vikings are going to move on from Kirk Cousins. They're not going to be bad enough to land a top quarterback. So then they're going to sign the equivalent of like a fucking Jimmy Garoppolo in free agency, who more than likely is not going to be as good as Kirk Cousins. So my whole thing is like, if you're not going to cut the cord early, bro, I don't know. I just think you could do a lot worse than Kirk Cousins. But
I think Cousins, I don't think this is that far-fetched. Cousins and a bunch of picks get traded to the Niners for Purdy in the offseason. I don't think that's that far. I don't think that's that far-fetched.
Have you watched Purdy play?
I'm not saying good picks. I'm not saying good picks.
A bunch of picks, though?
I think you could get a second and 2/3 for
Simply
Purdy pretty
he's
easily.
Coming off an Achilles injury?
I don't think so.
I'm telling you right now.
But I'm asking, is that because of Cousins' injury?
Cousins will be on the Niners next year.
But is it because of Cousins' injury that you think that Purdy's worth that much?
No, I think Purdy's worth that much because he's a young quarterback and his numbers are that of like a top 15 QB in the league. whether you want to say it or not. I mean, Daniel Jones just got paid 150 M's and he had like 10 touchdowns or 15 touchdowns or whatever.
And when that happened, how many execs are on record? Well, not on record, but how many execs are in articles? Because they like to speak anonymously, saying that they were shocked by that or the
But
Giants.
I'm just saying, like, the X said it best, the Vikings aren't going to be that bad. You have to keep Justin Jefferson. You're not going to tank. You have to do all these different things. Name me a better quarterback that would be on the market than Purdy.
Justin Fields.
What is the Vikings record right now?
It don't matter what the Vikings record is. Cousins is gonna be on the Niners next year.
They're like
No,
4-4.
yeah, but why give up a bunch of draft picks?
So who are you gonna get? Who are you gonna get? Like what? Why not take a flyer on the young guy? And no one, I'm not asking
why not
for
take
day
one
one
in the draft? And
nah, because you've already seen it with Purdy. Show me a better young quarterback than Purdy right now. Like who's putting up better numbers at the first or second year than Purdy? Nobody.
you make a solid argument right there.
But Cousins will be a Niner. We have like 60 M's in cap this offseason.
surprisingly, Sam Howell's putting up better numbers than Brock Purdy.
But I'm just a fake numbers, bro.
He does a lot in garbage time. But yeah, no, listen, Howell ain't bad.
I said surprisingly.
But like, bro, Purdy's putting up Trevor Lawrence numbers, and Trevor Lawrence gets like treated like he's a fucking god. You know what I mean? So it's like, obviously he's been really bad the last 3 weeks. It is what it is, bro. Like, I don't think Purdy's very good, but you can't pretend he's not a top 15 quarterback in the league. Like that. That's more.
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying though, like, I just don't see why they would trade.
Because you would jump at the opportunity to trade away a guy in the same tier as the guy you're bringing in, and you save 13 years. But if you're Shanahan,
Cousins even under contract.
he's not. That's what I'm saying. Cousins will be a 49er no matter what. If the Vikings are smart, they trade picks for Purdy.
Yeah, they won't be in a trade for each other.
No. And then the Niners would move Purdy to Minnesota. That way he gets the start and they get their quarterback. If Minnesota's smart. But Cousins will be a Niner no matter what, bro. Like this is setting up for exactly what Shanahan's wanted for the last like decade.
Cousins back?
Cousins is gonna be a 49er.
He was the coach was he the coach in Washington or the OC?
He was. He was the guy that drafted Cousins in the 3rd round after taking RG3 in the 1st. He was the guy that benched RG3 for Cousins.
Yeah.
That's Shanahan's guy. Like Cousins will be a Niner one way or the other. If Minnesota's smart, they take Purdy.
I mean, if the 49ers are smart, they don't bring in Cousins to be their starting quarterback coming off of this injury.
But again, who do they bring in though?
Just keep Purdy until you feel like you're getting a real upgrade and he's gonna be healthy. Like keep Purdy.
I think,
bro, you lost 3 quarterbacks in one season last year.
Shanahan's gonna take the flyer on Cousins. I'm not saying you trade Purdy immediately. Maybe you see how the rehab's going. The moment it looks like Cousins is going to be healthy for the regular season, they're going to move Purdy. It makes sense. You have to sell high on this guy because you have another year before you have to re-sign him.
Yeah, and he was with the last pick of the draft, so his contract right now ain't even that long.
It's 4 years. It's as long as the rest of them.
The first round is what, 5?
It's 5, but the 5th.
I didn't realize he got 4. I thought he only got 3.
Nah, he got 4. But they're going to sign him after the 3rd year. They're not going to let him play on an expiring deal. That'd be crazy.
You probably won't even have to pay him that much either. Like in comparison to like everybody else on the market.
Huh?
You talking about Purdy, right?
Bro, what? How much you think Trevor Lawrence gets?
I don't know.
Highest paid quarterback in the league, probably?
Yeah.
No.
Give me 3 reasons why he should get more money than Purdy.
But I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be the highest paid quarterback in
Come on now.
I said no. When you asked, I said no.
For
It's
every
not
new
a world.
quarterback that gets a deal at that tier, resets the quarterback market.
It just resets the market. You can't give me 3 reasons like why Herbert should get more money than Purdy that are like real. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like myths that I
You
agree
put
with.
Herbert on the 49ers,
Myth.
telling me that they're not undefeated
Hypothetical.
right now.
Hypothetical. Give me three
They're not
real
undefeated.
reasons. Also, I don't think we get
And I'm
better.
not about to spend 20 minutes talking about the
Because
49ers
all
and
right,
their quarterback
Bigger arm.
situation.
because Herbert has been handcuffed by two of the worst coaches in recent history.
I'm not
Yo,
trying to
can
hear
we
that.
even just move on from this? Like,
I'm
we
not
can
trying to
talk
hear
about
that
the
because
Let's
49ers.
move on.
you
We've been talking
handpicked
about the
Kellen Moore this
49ers and their
offseason.
quarterback situation for a little minute. Let's move on. Make our picks. Deion, you can start this week off.
I haven't pulled up, but I'm gonna take who I'm gonna take the Chiefs and Chiefs -2.
X, what you got?
I got
You could pick your Wrexham FM if you want.
Oh, you already? Oh, but I got my picks lined up. I got Wolves over Sheffield United plus 100. That's a lock. Sheffield United stinks. And by the way, I stayed for all 90 minutes at the Arsenal game in London, so I've redeemed myself. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna take Bills +2 against the Bengals.
This is the lock of the week.
Well, actually, I'm gonna take the money line.
Nah, this is the lock of the week. My dog Heineke is back. Falcons -4 on Sunday.
Bro, you took my
Falcons
pick.
now?
That's
For
the
me?
easiest bet, bro.
Bro, Falcons minus alt line -6.5 over Vikings plus 132.
My
I was
dog
on it too.
Heineke. My dog is back. My dog is back.
Yo, and whatever the Drake London and Kyle Pitts overs are, bet them shits too.
Those
you know
two.
What I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Heineke do be throwing downfield a lot.
But he don't go.
But I don't know. You don't think the Falcons gonna stick to their game plan and run it a million times?
No, because if so, then John Robinson would actually be doing something in fantasy. No, they're gonna do, bruh. Expect the unexpected, and I think Heineke airs that bitch out.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what the props are for this Eagles and
Who's
Cowboys.
documenting this, by the way? Because I don't see nobody type.
No, I got it.
Oh, you got it.
Give me DeAndre Swift anytime touchdown scorer against the Cowboys at +115.
What was the line on the Falcons thing?
-4 was a regular line.
Yo,
and
you
then I
got
moved
me.
it to
You moved it to what?
-6.5.
What was the odds though?
Plus 132 for the alt line.
And you got me as money line for the Bills, right?
Yeah.
+110.
Yeah. Who the hell they play? Oh yeah, I'll take the Bengals -2.
All right. I got Tyreek Hill over 100 yards receiving plus 110.
I got the Milwaukee Bucks -6.5 against the Knicks tomorrow at -110.
The Bucks stink. I'm gonna take
So the Knicks do too.
Yes.
the Bucks are different. I'm gonna take the Rams +136 and just hope Stafford plays.
All right. I'm gonna take Stephon Diggs over 100 yards receiving plus 130.
I'm gonna take don't really like much from football this week. How many picks we made so far?
3.
This is your fourth.
Yeah, it's your
Okay.
fourth.
Let me circle back to the NFL. You took the Chiefs -2, right?
Yeah.
Give me Ravens Seahawks over 44.
I'm gonna take the Texans minus 2.5 against the Bucks.
I'm gonna take Arsenal plus 155 over Newcastle.
Justin Fields still out?
Nah, I think he's back this week, actually.
Wait, let me see if they got the first half shit. The first half touchdown scorer. Fuck it. Give me Alvin Kamara first touchdown scorer plus 425.
I just lit that on fire.
That's all the picks.
Oh yeah.
I want the sneakers this season.
Yeah, listen, with the time frame you got me my
Yo, and X, you owe me a hat too.
You'll be lucky to ever get them shits.
You got them though. But you got them. You know what I'm
X,
saying?
you owe me a hat.
For what?
The Garrett Wilson bet?
What was the Garrett Wilson bet?
Under 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns?
He about to say, I didn't think Rodgers would get hurt.
Come on, son. My son fucking Achilles on the second play of the year. You really
Yeah,
you got at least let me double.
we could work out another bet to try to redeem that,
Yeah.
but we could double or nothing that. But bruh, if you would have bet Aaron Rodgers MVP for the season, DraftKings would have took your fucking money out your account so fucking fast. So, and then you got crazy with your hat description too. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I knew it was disrespectful to me because it had something to do with the Yankees.
I don't know. I mean, your hat collection is bottom 5 all time, but
Never the time. Never the time. But your boy Garrett Wilson, 469 with 2 touchdowns.
Y'all give a fuck about this in-season tourney? I low-key do.
Fuck no.
I like some of the courts they're using.
I
like that they switched up the courts, and some of them look pretty dope. Some of them look crazy, but some of them look pretty dope. You already know how Deion feels. He's gonna talk mad shit because it's not a championship. So
I don't
I respect it. Like it's kind of meaningless, but
I don't find it
looking
meaningless.
forward to it. Huh? I'm looking forward to it simply because it's gonna make the regular season more meaningful for the players. So we should get a better product.
Yeah, no. See, that's why I don't like it. I think ain't no way it makes the regular season more meaningful for the players. Not of the good teams, at least.
But remember, the games count towards your regular season record, so there's no reason.
No, but that's why I'm saying the regular.
But they didn't give a shit about those games before, and a stupid little trophy and $1 million isn't going to change that for a lot of these guys.
I think who it'll matter for are the teams like the top teams in the East and the top teams in the West, for whom home court advantage in the postseason matters. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in contention for like either a top 4 seed or like home court advantage, you're gonna want to give a fuck because you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna want to play a game 7
in the NBA that is not making that much bread in comparison to the rest of the league, and that $1 million is gonna be clutch for them. I think it's good. It should be fun. I wish they would have adopted more of the soccer way of doing the tournament and like the in-season shit. But I think it's cool. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure how. I really wish they would have separated it from like a regular season game today counts towards that. I really wish they would have figured out a way to keep it separate. But again, it should make the regular season more interesting because of that, though, right? And that's what I'm
I
looking
mean,
for.
what I like is that they're gonna do it on specific days. So like moving forward, Tuesdays and Fridays is in-season tournament days. So it's cool in that sense, you know what I'm saying?
It's like
But real quick,
when
before we leave, I don't think I've hated watching someone play basketball more than I do Jordan Poole. I don't know how you did it for the last 3 years, Deion. I hate this motherfucker.
he
Like
he
I
had
hate
more structure
everything,
around him before though.
bro. I
Yeah,
hate
Steph
everything
makes
about
things
this
a lot
contract,
easier, bro.
bro.
Steph makes things a lot easier,
Did you
man.
see him
The
throw the
big
fucking
post
off the
effect.
glass alley while he was down 20? Bro, like it takes a certain level of dickhead to do something like that.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, he's an asshole, bro. Like I've been saying from the jump, Draymond was right.
He got
Draymond was
CTE
right.
from that punch.
Draymond was right, bro.
He got
He's a
Draymond was
dick.
right.
CTE from Draymond Superman punch.
He's not, bro. He was that way before. He's a dickhead. He's a dickhead, and now he's a dickhead with control. So
Yeah, with
With the
$100 million
green
in
light.
control.
yeah, take your most toxic dude you know, put him in a
Y2K?
relationship with a chick that has blinders on. That's Jordan Poole in Washington.
And I can't wait for the dickheads who don't watch basketball to be like, yo, Jordan Poole should be an all-star. You see his numbers? Yo, bro, fuck that. I hate him.
Yeah, and his numbers are horrendous too. On
I
top
was gonna
of
say I don't even think his numbers are gonna be that good.
he's
And
shooting
No,
like 37%.
by the all-star break, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe, but like shooting 37% is kind of disgusting.
yeah, it ain't great.
We'll see what happens with that. Oh, wait, before we wrap things up, who's your favorite to win the Super Bowl now that we're halfway through the season?
Eagles.
It's the Chiefs for me.
Chiefs or Seahawks.
That's gross.
That's it for this week's episode of the Break the Bank podcast. Hopefully, we all back together next week.